Hi, Attorney Steve Vonder, Business, Real Estate, Intellectual Property Law. We are talking in this video about liquidated damages. We are talking about contract law. This is a basic little snippet for you when you're negotiating your contracts and you want to make sure if something doesn't go right that you're covered with a liquidated damage provision. So without any further ado, let's head over to the Attorney Steve Business and Real Estate whiteboard. Okay, so we're coming up here. We are talking contracts. K stands for contract. Here's our contract. We got it right here. Now, I'm going to use just an example for one of our business software alliance type of cases. So say that you're involved in like a software audit and your company has been pegged for software piracy, and you end up going through conducting a self-audit, and you're working through one of these settlement agreements, and you get to the end and you say, okay, we've agreed on a price, we're down here at the end now, let's say we've agreed to, let's just say $50,000, we're going to get this case settled, get them off our backs once and for all, and get all our software properly licensed. So this could be any contract. This could be a partnership contract, a real estate contract, any sort of business agreement that you might get into, and you get down and you settle your case, and then you get down there and you say, now we want this to be confidential. We don't want this running around on the internet. We don't want this up on Facebook, these kinds of things. We want a confidentiality clause. That happens in a lot of contracts. So say we're going to put in a confidentiality clause. The parties hereby agree to maintain this in privacy, not to disclose to any affiliates, blah, 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 except otherwise permitted by law, DDD. There's a nice little clause you can put in there for your confidentiality provisions. But what are you going to do if a party breaches that agreement? You say, well, I'll always have the right to file a lawsuit, but you don't necessarily want to have to end up filing a lawsuit if somebody's breaching your confidentiality. Then you're filing a lawsuit, and now you're going to court to enforce a breach of this contract. So it can really turn into a mess. So one thing people might do in various types of contracts, business and real estate, is insert a liquidated damages clause. Now this would be, for this example, this would be in addition to this confidentiality clause. This would be one clause that you put in there, and you would also put a separate liquidated damages clause in here. So say you're going to put another clause in your contract, LDC. So you're going to be talking about liquidated damages. In other words, if you breach the confidentiality portion of this agreement, and you can put it in bold, you can put it in red, 12 font, make it so it's noticeable. You may want to have it separately initialed by the other parties executing the contract. And you want to provide, if you breach this provision, it's going to cost you $100,000, or it's going to cost you $250,000, or it's going to cost you $1 million, whatever the case may be, or $10 million. So, but the point is, you sort of want something in your contract to protect you. Now, this is not to say the other party's always going to agree. The other party in negotiating the contract may say, no, there's no way, no LDC, no liquidated damages clause. We're not doing this. Sorry, pound sand. So, but you want to think about, can I get a liquidated damages clause in there? Will they possibly agree to this? And then what amount would it be? Now, this video is about how to make sure that would actually be enforced in the event, let's say they breached your confidentiality agreement, blasted it all over the internet, or did a press release out there that said, hey, we just settled this big case with this infringing firm. They copyright infringers, they did everything wrong, and there was a big settlement for $50,000. Well, now you're like, okay, this is a big problem. So you may say, well, I wish I could sue them for $50 million, but I don't know what the damages are going to be. And really what we want them to do is to take this serious and not accidentally issue a press release. Maybe one of the employees over there says, oh, there's just a settlement, maybe I'll post a press release on this. So you want to be careful. The liquidated damages clause will help you do that. However, it's only enforceable if a couple elements are met. Main thing, if the courts think that this is a penalty that you're imposing on them, a penalty against this company, and that's all it is, that it's not a reasonable forecast of what your damages could be, then it may not be enforceable. The general test, this is the general test, check out the case law. It may illuminate some of these factors in detail for you, but I'm just giving you the general test. These liquidated damages clauses are enforceable if the damages are difficult to estimate at the time you're entering into this agreement. Okay, so if they're difficult to estimate, you say, well, I don't know what would a breach. If they posted a public relations press release and they posted that on the internet and circulated and got passed around, what would the damages be? I don't know. Maybe it would be $250,000. Maybe it would be $500,000. Maybe it would cost you $5 million to damage all the reputation that would cost by other people in your industry or your clients thinking that you're like a software pirate, just to use my example. So you want to make sure that that the damages are difficult to estimate, which I think they would be. You know, what are the damages going to be? That it's a reasonable forecast. You don't want to say $500 million if you breach the confidentiality and post our software licensing shortages. You know, it's not $50 million. That's not reasonable. Okay, and the final thing, not a penalty. So if you can meet these factors, think about trying to get these clauses into your contracts, your real estate contracts, your business contracts. And again, it's not so much that you're trying to force compliance, but you're trying to protect yourself in case something were to happen. Okay? This is Attorney Steve Vondran. We will talk to you again. Hope this video has been helpful.